Hey, everybody. It is Tuesday, and you guys are tuning in to Don't Believe the Hype, the Donovan Sadiq edition, with my compadre in crime, Demetra K, who, by the way, I had to call her to make sure she showed up because the executive producer will be touching down this week, and we need her to do her job and make sure that our season is renewed for next year.
Right. Exactly.
So we're putting our best foot forward.
And hello to you all on Facebook. Again, as we said, we were going to start going live on Tuesdays as well. Normally, it's just Donovan and I. We chop it up, fight, whatever the case is. And so we decided to share this format on Facebook Live as well. Of course, we'll be taking your questions, comments, concerns, whatever it is, and we'll go from there. So from this point, and hello to you guys on YouTube.
Yes. Now remember, don't believe the hype. Don't listen to what we're saying. We don't believe the hype. We're saying don't go with the sound bite. This behind us is a green screen, and in this green screen, we want you to pull this down and see who's pulling all the bells and whistles and the levers, which is usually me.
Right.
So, but what do we say on the show all the time? Don't listen to what we say. Research what we're saying.
Absolutely.
So, but what we want to talk about just real quick, because I'm getting a lot of people asking me, what do I think happened with Mr. Jeffrey Epstein? Now, I just want to say this. The whole purpose of this show is to bring love, peace,
and harmony
and all that other stuff. And just,
shed some light on
some
BS.
and just express, and just express ideas. That's all we want to do, okay?
Right.
Even if it's the wrong idea, at least you're starting to think, because obviously you're starting to think if you're tuning into the show. But Jeffrey Epstein, as you guys know, this guy's a multi-billionaire. Nobody knows how he got in money. We believe, at least I believe that he gets his money from blackmailing high-profile officials and government things to get influence. Now remember,
allegedly. Supposedly.
Now remember, politics is about power. That is why Kamala Harris is a Hillary Clinton clone. If you think about it, how can you run on the record Kamala Harris has, and then you expect to get elected based on that? You dogged out black people. You used Joe Biden's law to your benefit. You side chick with Willie Brown. Just look at her steps. She's ascending to power no matter the cost. Okay, so politics is power. That's all it is. It isn't about helping you at the bottom level. It isn't about any of that. It's just about, I'm going to enrich myself. Most black politicians enrich themselves. How much is Maxine Waters worth? She's been in Congress for over 30 years. They say she's worth over $80 million.
Golly.
Nancy Pelosi is worth over $300 million. But let's look at their districts and where they live. Looks like hell to me.
Right.
But they seem, so taking a few politicians, and we put a video up on it showing that isn't representative wealth of black people, because you have black politicians. Well, we had a black president. Did anything change for us?
Right.
It didn't change. So, but Jeffrey Epstein, let's talk about him. A lot of people believe that Jeffrey Epstein is dead, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered or kind of asked about. But isn't it funny when the news broke about Jeffrey Epstein, it was like he committed suicide. But the last anybody ever heard about Jeffrey Epstein, he was on suicide watch. So if you're on suicide watch, and the news outlet changed the narrative, and they're like, oh yeah, people are starting to think, yeah, we did say he was on suicide watch. And then they changed it and said, oh yeah, by the way, he wasn't on suicide watch. And even until today, they're still changing the narrative because people are like, oh no, that's bullshit.
Right.
No, the left and the right are like, wait a minute, this stuff is not adding up. Now, people have asked me my opinion on it. And they said, Don, what do you think happened? I have no doubt when they put him on suicide watch to begin with, I said they are setting up a black op operation. If those don't know what a black op operation is, that is when they secretly do stuff behind the scenes. Now, how many of you guys know, obviously, Jeffrey Epstein is Jewish. They say he has ties to Mossad. What is Mossad? That is the Israeli intelligence operation. These are the people that went out into Argentina and snatched Eichmann. And, they did all these James Bond type things. So, would it be far-fetched to believe they set up, we're going to put him in. This guy's number 5, one of the top 5 profile people in federal custody. Nobody in that thing would say, we got to keep this guy alive because of what he knows. And if it's a possibility, yes, shouldn't it have been a possibility to the people that were holding him? But then, miraculously, all these things fell into place. No camera. Watch, they're going to say there's no cameras in his cell. They're going to say, and they got to say that because
said that.
Yeah, because he wasn't on suicide watch, so they didn't have that. But they do have cameras in the hallways.
Right.
Watch, the tapes are going to be gone for that. Some of the guards are going to be missing or disappearing or can't remember or fired and stuff like that. It's going to incredible how this is going to be set up. Okay, so that's what I think happened to Black. Because here's the thing: billionaires who live a very privileged life, just like me and Dee used to talk behind the scenes. If I've got the goods on you, the one last thing that's ever going to happen to me, because you don't know what I had. They found all that stuff on disc in his safe. They haven't released that yet, and they're never going to release it.
Right.
But do you think that's the only disc?
I know. I'm sure there's quite sure.
This man's Jewish. He was a teacher. He's very good with numbers. He's a highly intelligent man. I'm very sure there are other discs and other things placed other places. So if I know D, if anything happens to me, we're all going to go down. So I better, either you're going to get me out of here. If you've got the means to fight the justice system, which he did, he beat it the first time, they don't kill themselves. They're not going to do it.
He has friends in high places
right.
as well. Yeah.
He has the influence.
Right.
He has the goods on these people. They're not going to kill him. What they did, in my opinion, is, I know a black ops when I see it. They're putting out a narrative and hoping that you'll go with it. They started it over here. He's 66-year-old man. They didn't just put him in general population. Oh, he had markings on his neck. Remember, he went to court a few days after that incident happened. Nobody mentioned anything on his neck.
Right.
Or he was, assaulted. That wasn't even brought up in court. If I was his lawyer, I'd say, hey, this guy's being assaulted. We need to do, that was not even brought up. Look at what's going on. This man, when they raided his house, did he not have a passport in another name?
Correct.
He had cash and money, so they say, allegedly. All this other stuff, which they said he's a flight risk, and that's why they kept him in custody. You actually believe that this man just died. Nobody's seen pictures. Osama bin Laden. How many of you guys out there believe that Osama bin Laden's dead? A man that was in the caves for how many years before we finally got him? Come on now. This guy has money. A person of means, they're not going to just die unless, Wall Street, then they lost all his money.
Right.
He's going to do that. But in conclusion, if you believe that this guy has died, I have got beachfront property in Arizona and Nevada for you to buy. Right.
How much?
A whole coast, if you want it, for $30.
Well, all right. And so, Dunamis, what's happening? He says not 100% sure what happened, but it was not suicide.
Exactly.
So he's saying it's not suicide.
You got the resources? Yeah.
And everybody, hello.
Shantae.
And what's up?
Checking it from work. That's what we're talking about. Checking it from work.
And then Holland is tagging Asada.
Okay.
And so,
well, what's your take on it, D?
I mean, I agree. Yeah, and Holland also said he thinks he was murdered. So he doesn't.
Nobody's seen a body. Even the coroner.
Well, there was a picture, but nobody.
That could have been anybody.
Yeah, well, it looked kind of looked like it could have been.
I'm a certified doctor, a coroner. The next day, the coroner says, I don't have enough information. Why wouldn't you have enough information on a known body?
Right, and Deja said, I got you on that $30 for the beachfront property. And Holland said it was a cover-up. I was actually reading an article, and they were saying that people that involved, the investigators or whoever's involved with Jeffrey Epstein's case, need to get ahead of the story because now all the conspiracy theories are starting to be formed and starting to fly, and so they want to kind of hurry up, which kind of suspicious to me too. They want to expedite what happened so they can give a final conclusion. Hey, he killed himself or whatever the case is. Right. But it seems like every day something is coming out. Oh, okay, well, the guy who was actually supposed to be watching him was working overtime. Then, he actually wasn't a correctional officer, and so it's just like so many.
They're trying to find something that's going to stick.
Yeah, it's like, okay, wait a minute. How is it that you have this super duper
high profile
individual who is not accused of stealing money like most, people in that circle are? This dude is accused of, and has been found guilty in the past of sexually abusing children. So, and he's a billionaire. He's highly connected. The day before he killed himself or whatever happened to him, this report comes out that there's 6 other high-profile men, one of them being Prince Andrew, of all people, was involved in some of this sexual abuse of these young girls. And so 24 hours later, he's no longer here. So how do you lose sight of this guy?
Right.
The murder conspiracy is one of them that he was taken out. But this is just me, and I'm not saying I know everything because the reason why I don't buy the murder conspiracy, because me being who I am, which is, an average person, if you will, if I had the goods on somebody, and the first thing I would think is, okay, they're going to kill me. And so I would tell them, you guys remember Superfly?
Yes.
What does Superfly say? You guys are familiar with Superfly? When he
bitch,
says,
go get my money.
He said, I took a contract out on you, so if something happened to me, that fine big-legged daughter of yours, something gonna happen to her.
Right.
If anything happens to me. And so I just can't imagine that Jeffrey Epstein, with all this knowledge and power and connections, wouldn't say, hey, if I even choke on a piece of candy in this mother, the dossier is gonna on everybody.
Exactly.
So that's why I don't buy the murder thing. He knew too much. The suicide thing, I don't buy, because as Donovan said, you got $1 billion and you finna leave that. You got
you haven't lost the $1 billion. You have $1 billion.
You still have it, so they say, But you got the goods on all these people who've gone to what they call Lolita Island. I forget the real name of it. But
Lolita Express was the plane, and then Rape Island or whatever they called it.
Right. So, and you got all these high profile people coming and going. You have these sex parties and these young girls there. Like I said Sunday, I'm making a phone call. Hey, y'all need to get me out of here. And if I'm not out of here soon, that was cute. I went to court, and they said that they denied my bail, whatever. Okay, fine. The judge ain't in on it. But I need y'all to get me out of here, or I'm starting to drop names, which could have been. I don't know if people thought about this, but that could have been what the whole little thing was the day before with the 6 names. Okay, y'all think I'm playing.
Right. Exactly. There's more names coming.
There's more where this came from. So if y'all think I'm playing, y'all better get me up out of here.
Right. And here's the thing. Okay, he was...
And she says Bill Gates just got... See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of stuff going on, and I want you to think about this. Okay, he got a sweetheart deal in 2008 or 2007 from the federal government. Now, his former girlfriend, who was the madam, where is she at? Now, in the plea deal, if you read the plea deal...
Gloria already said she on her case.
Yeah, they're going to do a civil thing. But the thing is, this person disappeared. But here's the thing. In that plea deal, what plea deal have you ever heard of to where anybody associated with this crime that I'm pleading guilty to for a year, they put me on house arrest, I'm Epstein, they put me for a year, you can't prosecute them.
Right.
These are some powerful people... Because if you're involved in a crime with me, D, you're going down just as much as I'm going down.
Right.
So who are these people?
Well, now they're saying they are saying those people who are connected, who were the go-to and hooking up these girls with the men. They're going after them now since Jeffrey
is dead.
Is dead. But it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
But what I'm saying is in that plea deal in 2007, 2008, it was a corruption. Part of it was corruption. So if you have a corruption deal, what does a corruption deal have to do with pedophiles?
Well, they actually only ended up charging him with solicitation of prostitution.
Right, but in the plea deal, it had to do with the corruption thing, was investigating it, which means political people.
Well, yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I want you guys to think about this. That happened in 2000, 2008. When did Chelsea Clinton get married? A couple years after that.
Okay.
Why was the madam invited? Okay, if you are deemed a pedophile, human nature says, I'm going to kind of step away from you. I don't want to be associated with you, whatever. She was invited to the Clinton wedding, and there's pictures of her actually at the wedding after these charges had come down.
Well, I mean, weren't they all hanging out?
Yes.
After that, then. I mean,
yes, that's what I'm saying. There's more to this
right.
than it's like you said. Hey, get me out of here. I do not believe that. I know a black op when I see it.
Yeah, I believe he's somewhere like, yeah, that was cute. I'm out of here. And Holly, you say Trump had him murdered.
I think Trump's too stupid to do something like that.
No, I don't think Trump is too stupid to have him murdered. I just think, it said that Trump is connected with the mob and the mafia and all that other stuff. He knows how it works. And so does Jeffrey. Listen, something happened to me. I done took a contract out, or this person has the goods and the file is going to drop. It's going to be uploaded to, WikiLeaks or whatever.
This thing is deep.
Right. And so you also say, remember, there are some very powerful people involved. Yes. Absolutely. Which is why it's kind of hard for me to believe he was just murdered. And then, not only that, if he was murdered, why hasn't the girl who was sexually raped by these men, why hasn't she been murdered? How come his helpers haven't been murdered? So to murder him, they'd have to, I guess I could buy, if we murder him, then everybody will go silent. Maybe they take a payday or something. I don't know.
You killed the head versus the tail.
It's got to be a whole lot of killing going on to me. I mean, of course, we don't know. We're just speculating at this point. And then, so you also say, Holland, if he would have started talking Trump's name, would have came up exposing him with messing with young girls. Well,
we know he's at the party. We already see him at the party.
His name has already come up as being associated with
as a rape
girls.
And a rape.
Yeah. Before he was won the presidency, it was said that he was being sued with a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
He raped a 13-year-old.
Yeah, 13-year-old. Yeah, and that was during the primaries and stuff.
I'm gonna move this down, you guys, because the last time this thing was all on my face. The words. Okay, I think that's much better.
There you go. So, I mean, there's a lot more to it, but don't get it twisted. Everybody's talking about this issue, right? But what are they not talking about? Reparations, the black agenda, all this other stuff, the Kamala Harris record and the Biden record. This is all a distraction for candy.
It's a distraction, and I don't think we should be distracted because there's a lot of things going on, but I think we do need to talk about it because you have somebody who happens to be the president, right? The leader of the free world and,
crook,
all
can't
that.
show his taxes, money launderer.
He's constantly involved in some chicanery, shenanigans, you name it. He's always involved in. He's involved in this. So we should be talking about it. But at the end of the day, just like with the whole gun violence and all sort of stuff, we can only do so much, whether we vote for or we don't vote or whatever the case is. The people we do vote for, like this Congress, they're the ones that's supposed to be doing something
checking
about Trump.
Balance, right?
But so we should be talking about that. I mean, for God's sakes, you have a man who went to prison, or went to jail once and then got re-convicted, if you will, of sex crimes of minors, and Trump is connected. I mean, and then he's tweeting about it, talking about the Clintons and killed them up. It's
right, distraction. And it to me, that's a sad commentary of the federal system, because if this man could be killed, they make it sound like, oh well, you go in there, you can get killed. Like we're in Mexico, you just, it's.
I mean, ask yourself this: why is Michael Cohen still kicking?
Right.
Because he knows how it works. I'm quite sure he said, listen, I'm going to do this funky little 3 years y'all got for me. But I tell you what,
when I get
anything happened to me, my kids, my wife, all that, y'all think y'all know some stuff?
Right.
Wait till this book comes out when I get out, which is why he didn't tell us. So to me, it's, I don't know. Like I said, we're speculating, but it's like you got to kind of connect the dots. You ain't going to do something to me and not pay for it, per se.
Right. And then I want everybody to understand this. Do not go with the soundbite. Do some research. Common sense. The simplest thing is probably what actually happens. How can you say this man is murdered and you've never even seen a body?
Well, like I said, they put a picture out, who it is, if it's really him and all that, who knows? But that's what we have, which is still kind of odd because he's high profile and somehow somebody, nobody really knows who, gets in there and takes a picture and releases it.
Wait a minute. Exactly. See how they're throwing this out? Technology. What they've been talking about when it comes to technology in these elections and these advertisements. I can take Dee's face and manipulate it, put it on somebody else.
Or maybe the picture was put out there on purpose. Here, let's give him that. that way because people don't really
a black eye. It's already been thought out.
The surface, so there's a body. It must be true, right?
The narrative was he was assaulted a week before he mysteriously commits suicide. If he wanted to die and you're being assaulted, why would you fight it? Just go and let him kill you.
Right.
You're going to hold on for a week and then kill yourself?
Right.
After being assaulted the week prior?
And then so Tay says Bill Gates. So what are they saying about Bill Gates? Maybe you've answered it already. And how do you say Trump
put a hit
out on him? It's possible, but like I said, if you guys have ever seen Superfly, y'all know how that works. Something happened to me, something gonna happen to you. And he also say now Trump is blaming it on the Clintons. Yeah, it's just like, come on. If I was the Clintons, I'd be like, we need the best lawyers ever possible on the planet. We need to sue this mofo for defamation and all, and slander, libel, everything you can think of. We need to sue him for that.
And speaking of this, rich people set up these foundations that's supposed to help people, right? Jeffrey Epstein's madam, she would set up a foundation that's supposed to help the oceans or the beaches or something like that, right? Then she shut it down after she had got indicted or the second case was going on. What other foundation operates like these rich people's foundations? The Clinton Foundation.
Oh.
How do they get their money?
Well,
who donates to the Clinton Foundation?
Right.
Other rich people. I almost guarantee the same people that donated to the Jeffrey Epstein financial portfolio, which nobody seems to know how he makes his money, but he does get, I bet you some of the same donors donate to the Clinton Foundation.
Well, I'm sure, just like the man, how did we get the man on the moon? Was the man really on the moon? Who killed
Did you see my meme about the aliens, how they faked the Earth landing?
It's one of those things we possibly never know. And Dunamis, she says, if he would have dropped names, that list would have been long. And I'm sure the list is long.
They say he did drop names. It is in the deposition, and that's what's they said that's why they went in and got that into his safe, because the man was not an idiot. The guy was highly smart.
You kill me and see what happened. That'd be me all day.
That is why the feds went in there and got that safe and got those discs. And how many discs? They're telling us 3 or 4, but I'm very sure there was more discs than that. This man has names, and the people that are associated, like his girlfriend, she's missing. Now, she would know also what's going on. We got the pictures. She's
waiting for him, like Carlito's waiting.
Yeah, on the island. She's on the island. And they're laughing all the way to the bank because they've got the offshore accounts like most of these rich people, and they've got the Swiss bank accounts.
Right. And Charles says, I want to see the Epstein autopsy from start to finish before I believe he is dead.
Thank you. That's what we're talking about.
But most people are like, okay, well, he's dead. Next. And Al says, for God's sake, he looks spectacular. Well, he's talking to you.
Thanks, Al. But again, and also,
thank you.
And also remember, this man, they say, is connected to Mossad. If you don't know what Mossad is, go look it up. These are the guys that there's Israeli intelligence thing that just go out there and they do spectacular shit. Okay? So
and Charles said they showed Uday and
Hussein's bodies, right? They were in the tents, and I was in Iraq during that time, so there's no doubt that those guys were dead, no doubt. Which goes against Islamic law because you're supposed to bury them in a couple of days, but we didn't give it down, so we kept them on the ice and stuff like that. You gotta see about it. You can't. How can you trust the corporate media?
Well, you can't really.
They're not even telling us Kamala's record. They're not telling us these people's real records.
Oh, and speaking of Kamala's records, they're saying that Kamala's records are disappearing.
Oh, yes.
They're saying that they're mysteriously disappearing.
In California, her
the arrest records.
Prosecutor records and stuff like that.
They're like slowly maybe they're
purging them.
Maybe the papers are so old that they're disintegrating.
No, and they're purging them because they have this rule. She's been out of office for so many things.
Yeah, but it's like, no,
it's already down. It's already written.
But we need to see those things. You want to be president of the United States, we need to see those things. And Al says, you said it correctly, man on the moon, because most black people say man in the moon. You stupid. So her records
are disappearing.
That's what they say, but it's like coincidence.
Yes.
Like, to me, it's stupid. Like, okay, you guys know I'm in PR and all this stuff. To me, I do this stuff second nature. It's like, why not just have them disappear before you announce? You know you did some crazy stuff. Just have them disappear before then.
Because she underestimated the black media.
She should have called me.
Exactly.
She should have called me.
Thank you.
Call me.
And now the people who don't live in California that didn't know about the record, because most people live in California, we know the record. The people are like, wait a minute, hold up, let's look at it. And they're finding this, and they probably said, wow, there's a big jump in people requesting these records.
Right, and so let's just get rid of some of the ones, like, the ones where we are keeping people in here.
Yes, innocent people with evidence, or the dirty cop record.
Yeah, let's get rid of
where she wouldn't want to release who the dirty cops were.
Let's get rid of those. We want to get rid of those, right?
No, Camel, your stuff's out there. You're done.
Right.
You're done. So I just wanted to bring that up. Let everybody know. I know it's intriguing. You're going to be talking about this, just like the Kennedy assassination. Even though George Bush was at the book depository that day, and George Bush had a connection to the CIA, and Prescott Bush, the first George Bush, his father was a senator who funded the Nazis, and there's all these things that go on, the Rothschilds, and you got all this stuff. You guys put it together. They're doing it right in your face.
And the crazy part is, like, if you watch the news or even read the news like I do, you look all over the world and you have all these uprisings, if you will, these revolutions, and Hong Kong. Those people are turning up. And like they said, for the 11th weekend in a row, they have shut Hong Kong down.
Yes.
They can't get flights in and out there. Right. People are sick of it. They're sick of the police brutality,
guess
corruption.
Well, guess what? The Chinese are rolling the tanks down the road now as we speak.
Yeah, because they said, too, they were trying to spin it as this is starting to look like terrorism, like domestic terrorism. Yeah. But the people are like, we're sick of it.
Well, what it is people who don't understand, Hong Kong was supposed to be a free zone. When British gave it back, it was supposed to have its own autonomy. But China is saying, no, we don't want to do that. We want to control that economy as well because you are part of China, so we want to have more say-so into it. So that's, 20 years has passed almost since they gave it back.
Not only that, they're controlling that, the economy. Yeah. They're controlling social media.
Right.
What the people
they want to stop that.
Well, they stopped it. Yeah. For the most part. And so the people are like, we're sick of it. Police doing it's like over here. And I'm like, okay, because we saw it in France and where else did they do it before? Venezuela. People are turning up. They're like, you know what, government, we put you in power, and now you are turning the power in a negative way on the people. And so, if you're not going to
stay armed,
but if you're not going to do what we ask you to do when we voted for you, then we're just going to get you out of there, even if we got to drag you out of there.
Right. But
so I guess the reason where I'm going with is what's taking us so long. But the point that I was really trying to make with that is like you said, they could just tell us anything, and most people just go with it. And and we're used to doing that here instead of questioning, and then we don't get the right answers. Then finally we turn up the heat, and then we make them do their job, which is what we put them there to do. And so, I mean, eventually it's going to come to that. When, I don't know.
When, we don't know.
But yeah.
I mean, and like I said, and then Taipei is also a part of China. So eventually the Chinese are going to go over there. The only thing that's keeping China from taking over Taipei, forcefully, is the U.S. 7th Fleet out there between the straits and keeping them at bay. But but that's an internal situation. That's why it's really hard to tell somebody how to control their home. So.
Well, I love it. I love to see people take back.
Yes.
It's called power to the people for a reason, because it belongs to the people. But you have these what do you call it? Dictatorships, to where it's a very small few people calling the shots.
Like here in America.
That's what I'm saying. Making it worse for the
majority.
Many. There's not a utilitarianism approach to things.
What happened in the Russian Revolution when the serfs, who were lower than dirt, had enough? They killed everybody on the top. Everybody.
And you start
and kept
over.
Going, right? And they just started over, and that's what's.
Not saying we're advocating for people to kill.
No, but it's going to happen.
But at some point in time, the people but we're just so.
When there's nothing left, how much wealth can you accumulate before you say, you know what, this is enough for me?
Right.
You leaving nothing. You got to throw the people something. You got to do something.
Right.
And
hey, Hannah.
And again, if you're not willing to die and fight for yourself, for your freedom, then you shouldn't be free. Simple as that.
Right. And then Hannah says, we black folks inspire the world.
Yes, absolutely. We were the first to do it. Why do we forget that?
I had a conversation with an Asian gentleman. He was like 74. And he told me, he says, I don't understand the attitude of the younger Asians, how they treat black people badly is what he was saying. And he was saying they should be ashamed of themselves. He said, because if it wasn't for you guys, he said, black people, we wouldn't have all the things that we have.
Exactly. You come over here and took care of the benefits that we fought for.
And he said, you guys created the blueprint for everybody else to be able to get things by, obviously
protesting, agitating,
Jim Crow,
right?
Setting up,
shots and
the protests and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, we created the blueprint. And so how he was saying, how dare us treat black people the way we do? And I was kind of taken aback by it because.
Well, I kind of feel sorry for Asians because they try so hard to emulate white people, so much so that they get plastic surgery and they bleach their skin whiter than
the same thing we do.
Yeah, but I mean, but they do it on a level where they think that they're equal to the white man. But what have I said on this show, especially when it comes to my Mexican brothers and sisters? Don't come over here just for the benefits when it's all good. Come and get all of this white man. All of it, the good and the bad. And I'm going to guarantee you're going to find out there is more bad shit than there is the good shit. That's why aliens do not come to this planet anymore. They said, leave them white folks. They're no joke. Leave them alone. Leave that planet alone. Okay? So.
Jesus.
It is.
Hey, Kevin. He says, be strong and positive as usual. And thanks for the broadcast and exchange. Unfortunately, my speakers are not working, and I can only read the comments. But even if that is worth it.
Yes.
Well, Kevin, thank you. I don't know why. Can everybody else hear us?
No, it's probably just his.
Is this yours? Maybe if you restart your phone, you can hear us. I'm saying it like, he can, I hope it doesn't look like I'm throwing off gang signs or I'm saying something really obscene in sign language because I don't know what I'm doing. But, yeah, so at some point in time, we are going to have to, because I have to be very careful what I say because, sometimes you get in a lot of trouble. But I'll just say this, we're going to have a revolution, for one, as black people, and then as Americans overall. We're going to have a revolution because the stuff that was being done to black people are now being done to everybody else.
On a global scale.
Right, it's being done to everybody else. We're now starting to see. I saw a video of a white woman being punched in the face by the police, and she's handcuffed. And so now that stuff is just now starting to come back to them because there's just everything is just unbridled. Let's call it what it is. White supremacy is just unchecked.
White supremacy, Hispanic supremacy, Asian supremacy. Out of all this supremacy, who's at the bottom? We are. We're always put at the bottom.
Right.
But before we go, I also want to go into a couple of weeks ago. I have said, when is the pastors and these white leaders going to address their shooters? Now, yesterday, here, right up the street from this house, there was a shooting that took out. Well, you know the story.
Well, and actually, as on my way up here, still closed.
Yes, they closed it off. Yeah, because it's a crime investigation.
Yeah, what happened was, unfortunately, a police officer seemed like he was. I don't know if he was black. It seemed like he was black to me.
And it was a traffic stop.
Was killed in the line of duty. It was actually 3 police officers that was shot. One actually died. I guess it was the one that made the initial contact. And it was a white guy. I don't want to be stereotypical, but I'll just say he was a white guy. That's not
stereotypical. Well, that's who's doing all the shootings.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. We know we're not doing all the shootings, but the mass shootings.
Yeah.
It's a white guy who did it, and that's pretty much all they know. They don't know any motives. If he was connected, it was a traffic stop. His car was in the process of being towed, and he called his wife. He being the shooter, called his wife, I guess, to come help him get his stuff. And the wife said when she turned around, before she knew it, she started to hear gunshots. So I saw too that maybe the wife brought him the shotgun, or it was they don't know exactly what type of weapon it was, but they said it was a lot of rapid fire. Put it that way. So anyway, they're still trying to figure out what happened. But to your point, it was a white guy who did it. A black police officer lost his life. So
right, but what I'm trying to say is.
And Deja said,
I agree with that 100%. What I'm trying to say is right up the street here, I mean, these shootings are happening everywhere. So be careful for yourself. Defend yourself. You only have one life. Do what you got to do. I'm not saying I'm super terrified around white people, but I'm super terrified around white men. White men. I'm super terrified. So, you know, it's almost like you got to be on a heightened alert for no reason whatsoever.
Nah, it ain't for no reason. They giving us good reason to be.
And the thing is, what I'm saying is, right up the street here, not even a mile from my house where we're broadcasting right now, a mass shooting just took place.
Yeah, like I said, it was closed on my way. I can see the activity and stuff.
So everybody out there, this is the time that we're living in. If you do not have a weapon or a gun, they are trying to push a legislation to de-arm the citizenry. Get you a gun legally if you can, because they are going to push this until you have no rights. And in the 1940s, Hitler outlawed Jews to have weapons. So when they came for the Jews and said, get your ass on this train, what you going to do? You ain't got no weapon to defend yourself.
Right. And Tay said, speaking on white people, the shooting at Box Springs, that's the one we just talked about. I am legit afraid of white men.
Thank you. It's about time, Tay. No,
and Hannah says they have self-hate. Hate to Asians. Yes. They dislike their own eyes. Look at who they draw. Anime. Yeah,
that's very true. And they get the surgery to cut the...
They say the eyelids because I guess they don't really have them, and so to kind of make them...
Well, what it is the eyelid comes over more.
Yeah, and make it indented or something like that. And they really go for the surgery to make them look more European, if you will.
Right.
That wasn't an earthquake, you guys. Yes. Donovan actually kicked the camera. And you also say, we are the canaries of the world. It is always us first. If we're sick, everyone else is going to get sick. Absolutely. Yes. And if you guys don't know the canary analysis, they usually send a canary into the coal mines to see if it's the air is good.
Yeah, the gas, if there's any gas leaks. If the canary dies, you better start heading up.
Right. Which is what I was telling somebody. Hey, Sydney, I was talking to my friend about the resiliency of black people.
We're going to make it.
All of the stuff that we've gone through,
and we're still
here.
Man.
You know, we are still here.
Because any other race would have been like, I'm done.
That's why I'm like, I know we are destined to make it and to be, not that we were never great, but to be great again if you will. Stealing the MAGA.
Yeah, well, why can't a black politician run on that?
What?
To be great again.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
Something.
Yeah.
What does man Hutch says?
Hutch says they suffer from the same thing black do. Blacks have skin bleaching, weaves.
Yeah.
Don't just.
I'm not getting started.
Don't get this man started on weaves, okay?
I'm just saying.
You got it. Him started.
Yes.
And we're going to be transitioning into the second segment, and we're going to be taking relationship questions, concerns. I want to lead off with something that I posted the other day. And so if you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns about anything relationship, not that relationship experts, but we done been through some things.
Yes.
We can relate. Please feel free to ask. We're going to just kind of lighten it up a little bit. Usually that's what we do. On Tuesdays, we kind of talk about a little bit things that are
Let's chop it up.
On the lighter side, try to give some advice, some helpful things, and then in turn, you guys may be able to help us too, right? Mm-hmm. And then, hey, Gene, it says, good seeing you guys, beautiful faces on my day off.
Hey, yes, all right.
I'm surprised you have a day off. This woman is the hardest working woman I know.
Yes.
Always has been, and so I'm glad that you can be here. But yeah, just to, kind of sum it up, we're supposed to be here. Black people are supposed to be here, and we are supposed to do great things again. Great things again. And I just think really it's just us having a conversation about who we were, who we are, and who we are supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And Kevin says, as the white media acknowledged in the white community, there is almost nothing that can be said or shown where Trump, that is genuinely Trump's family name before they immigrated to America is... let's see.
Woo! Dang, go ahead and read that.
Now you see why I lose my place?
Yes.
It said that before they immigrated to America, is concerned that will thwart the blind support of white people for this guy, and it certainly is not his politics. Hell, he is Russian And it's politics, whatever the government says it is. But this is the time when Africans in America can seek to separate themselves from the politics, but not the country, by shifting their alliances to Africans in America and to recycling those benefits of the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. If one reads it, then they'll find that it is to address the things we now call reparations. Read it. It's most beneficial to Africans in America than figuring out who murdered whom and why. I'm just saying, I agree. I 100% agree with you. Look, I put so much shea butter on my arms. It's like,
as a matter of fact, Dee and I were talking about the reparations thing where Sheila Jackson Lee's talking about study. We don't. Everybody knows what happened to black people in this country. What is there to study? They gave that money to the French. Do you know the United States compensated some of those people, and they expedited it because of the people getting old?
Right. And same thing with Joe Biden with the Jews.
Exactly.
He said it was 12 million or so to the elderly Jews, saying they shouldn't have to live this way, in poverty, and that kind of stuff. And so that's why he was like, okay, let's get them their money.
Yeah. Why is it when it comes to the Democratic Party they want us? They don't want to give us anything.
Right.
And it's like you expedite the thing, and you're saying, okay, these people were wrong. Let's give them the money. I'm not saying they shouldn't get their money. What was that lady? She died 2 years ago. She was the last victim of the Tulsa Black Wall Street thing. She died at 103 years old. Why didn't you give her money?
But they got to study it.
But then this French thing with the rails and the people thing is, if you read the bill, it gave their descendants money because it was like, okay, well, they lost all those years, so we're going to compensate the descendant to make up for the wealth gap that they lost.
Right.
Come on, y'all.
Right.
We need to study.
And Kevin, I agree with you. We should never lose sight of what we're in it for. And right now, it's among a lot of things is reparations. But it's kind of hard to have that conversation, especially now because, the Democrats, most of them now are on board with reparations.
But is it reparations?
Yeah, but a lot of people still want to vote for Joe Biden, who is not on board for reparations. We got to get Trump out of there. Because they, are in love with Joe being, the vice president, Obama years and all that kind of stuff. And so we're divided on that. We shouldn't be divided on somebody like Joe Biden. It should be crystal clear to us.
Cut and dry.
Just like we are with Kamala and any of the rest of them, that he is not for us. And so why is it that the majority of black people want to vote for Joe Biden? He's not for reparations.
If you look at the most of the Democratic candidates, they are not for reparations. There is not one up there for reparations. They have a form of this.
Marianne Williamson.
Well, other than Marianne Williamson, she gets it. But outside of that, out of the majority of the people that have a chance to win, none of them are for reparations. Kamala says she's not for reparations.
Well, she is, but you got to jump through all these hoops of fire.
But that's not reparations, right? But that's not reparations.
Own a business for 20 years before we even think about it in the black community. We're going to get some housing.
She said this directly. You can't be talking about writing a check. Well, what else should you be talking about?
Yeah, and a few of them are saying that let's do some programs.
No, we're not doing that. We want our money.
This, that, and the other. We're going to infuse it into. And what if I don't want to go to an HBCU?
Right.
What if I already got some degrees?
Right.
Like
I'm 50 years old.
Right.
I want my money.
Right.
So.
So Gina says, yes, been through some things. Well, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. What we're going to talk about on the next segment, relationship stuff, anything, doesn't matter. We'll try to keep it decent, though, right?
Yes.
We don't want to talk about, well, what happened was when I tried to hang from the chandelier.
Well, like I said, our contract needs renewing and dealing with the executive producer.
I don't even have chandeliers, okay? Senior Guard, what's happening says, I'm selling caps, but put in the order now, make blacks great again.
There you go. Right. I'm telling you.
There you go. You got it. See? Just cut me a percentage, since it was my idea, right? And Hannah says, he have to define when we were great. The politician. Mm-hmm.
Well, Trump didn't have to do that.
Well, we know what it means for white supremacy when America was great again. That's when they were completely on top, were able to burn people's communities down to the ground, and then take over and set up shop.
Yeah, their height was 1955 when they were just running roughshod on everybody and didn't care. After that, they started to decline.
Before integration, they were just running amok.
We got to give these niggas something,
right? I put up a video of an older gentleman. He just turned 100. Officer Tommy is the guy. I guess he's friends with them. He puts up a lot of videos of this guy. His name is Mr. I can't remember his name. But he was talking, this man is 100 years old, and he's talking about